Hello, Booster fam. Welcome back to the Booster for Today podcast show. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. We love you. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe. Welcome back once again to the Booster for Today podcast show. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. We love you. And if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe and stay to the end of the video and make sure you give a like to our comments. We like your comments. Thank you. So today our topic for today is parenting in the digital age. I'm your host, Ong Before Happiness Nkechi. We're going to be talking about the parenting styles, millennial parenting style, traditional parenting styles of Nigerian parents in current days, and how the old ways are not so effective in the modern times, because youth of today are fast evolving. The technology has evolved and everything is just going way out of hand for most parents. They don't know how to get a grip of their children. We're talking about majorly also the use of physical violence, if we should continue with that or not. Today with me to help us with this topic, I have
Wintige Brahmadabuchi
and Stella Osefo Osato Hamid.
Okay, these highly intellectual individuals will be helping us dissect this topic, how to parent our parents to parent as well, or better. So Gabriel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very fine.
And Stella, shining queen.
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, so the traditional spare the rod, spoil the child idiom, what do you think about it?
You say traditional. I also call it scriptural too.
Okay.
You know.
Sure.
And I believe every single thing the Bible writes, it's true and it's the truth at the same time too. So my take on it is that it's a very good method to also grow children, because all of us can attest to the fact that most of the things that you find yourself that you have stopped doing is because one way or the other you have been punished and you have been flogged about those things. If those things do not come into play, I'm sure that we can all testify that some things we couldn't have stopped them. Let's take for instance now, a child sucking his thumb. How many of us did that? We realized that we are being made to suck bitter leaves and the rest of them. Yeah, my parent does that to all of our children, and then it's one thing that made them stop it. One way or the other, it's still a means of also what? Spain. It's still a means of us not
Spoiling the child.
Yeah, exactly.
So Stella?
Yeah, it's I I wouldn't fully support what he's saying,
What's
because
your opinion?
yeah, spare the rod and spoil the child. It's scriptural, but then I don't know. I feel like some parents, they overdo it. I'm not saying that they should not punish us. Fine, you want to beat your children, fine, but then don't make it a regular thing. Like once your child know that, oh, once I've done this thing now, oh my god, that is going to kill me. Oh my god, I'm dead. And then with that, you're creating more fear in them, and you might be creating the beast as well. So yeah, it's not, I don't like it when they do it too much, but then they can do it. Let's not fully go against.
Okay, so we are supporting that they should not spare the rod. Like if you spare the rod, you spoil the child. So you are supporting the use of physical violence. Is that what you're saying?
Not really physical violence. Yeah,
Beating is physical violence.
No.
it's not that's not actually physical violence.
It's
Physical
what?
violence.
Spiritual violence.
No, it's physical violence. I beg, please.
Okay, let's say
no.
okay, you are supporting it, but then you are like, it shouldn't be excessive.
Yeah,
Exactly. In moderation.
Moderation.
Or we can just make do with punishments, because I've done it as a child before. I mean, just your child does something, especially the young ones that are coming up. You might just play one wrong play or move on
And then you hit them.
And then instead of hitting them, just be like, oh yeah, stand up from there, go to the naughty corner.
Naughty corner.
Yeah, that's what I call it. I'll be like, oh yeah, move to the naughty corner. Once they stay there and they see the rest of their mates playing and laughing, and then they'll be like, oh my god, I wouldn't have made this move. That's why me asking to go to the naughty
That's
corner.
a more appropriate punishment.
Yeah. I feel like I would tell my children, oh yeah, go to the naughty corner. And they're going to like rough play so much. Like
I feel it will also be okay if we say that making use of punishment can also be under means of us not spoiling that child too. Mm-hmm. So the rod should always imply cane, because anytime our parents use that word, they always imply that must use cane.
Yes, that's like the misconception with Nigerian parents. They feel like when you say spare the rod, spoil the child, I mean, you have to use the rod, like by fire, by force, you must use that cane. Yeah. Some people don't, you know that some people actually go, like, I saw this meme.
there was slippers, like that heel slippers, and then he had like helicopters, and then you're like, this is what you see when your parents just
He just hits
I
the
used
right
to
place
jump
and
around the
target.
compound then.
Okay, but I also, okay, let me say this story about my friend Angela. Talking about excessive punishment now. Angela, my friend, she doesn't really have this ideal relationship with her parents. You get, like, she doesn't talk to her mom, she doesn't talk to her dad. She just basically needs, like, once she needs something, she calls them. And this is because of past experiences that she's had. Her mom wanted her to go to the science class to be a nurse, but Angela loved arts. Like, she loved to draw, she loved to design and all of that. She was really an arts person. She had passion for arts. And then her mom told her that you have to do this. But then she was obstinate in her decision that she doesn't want to go to arts. She doesn't want to go to science class, that she really had to do arts because that was what she actually had passion for. You get, yes. But then when she kept being obstinate, her mom hit her. Like, give her a lot of scars that she can tell you very vivid stories about. Like, this was when she hit my head on the wall. So then she used her leg on my neck and all of that. Like, very depressing punishments. And then when this still did not work with her, because after the whole beating, she still did not agree to go to the science class, her mom took her for deliverance. See, Nigerian parents under deliverance. I don't know about this church thing, but Angela had PUD, peptic ulcer disease. And in this deliverance session, they told her to fast. Somebody with peptic ulcer. And it's not like fast and then, it's dry fasting. Like,
No water.
no water. They're giving her dry fast for 3 days.
Ulcer
With somebody
patients.
with pep.
See, this is because you think she's disobeying you and you think she's possessed. She's,
Just because she's not doing what you asked her to do.
do you understand?
She's
That's excessive. Like, that's, now Angela doesn't even talk to her parents. She doesn't see them as people that she can talk to, people that she can trust. Like, if something happens to her now, her parents are not the first people that come to her mind. They are not. It's just probably a random friend or one bestie that she has acquired over the years, but not her parents. She doesn't trust. There's no relationship whatsoever because of this.
Hard.
And it's bad.
Very, very
so you agree with me now? It's terrible, but
That's the abuse of it then.
This story just reminded me of my neighbor, my past neighbor. She will always hit her 4-year-old son for playing rough play or doing wrong things. And then when sometimes the father will be annoyed, and then one day he opened up and he was like, see, if you want beat him, no they beat him without telling him waiting he do. This is a 4-year-old baby. He was like, if you want beat him, show him what he did. And then still beat him. In my mind I was like, I thought you were going to say something like don't beat him, but they just show him what he did and tell him what to do.
Relationship between those two things. So anytime he sees that, okay, this is what I'm being punished for, it makes him to.
But then what confuses me is that this same baby goes back to that same thing.
there are actually instances where those things you beat the children for, they go back to them, and then they have this resistance because they already know what's coming next. It's not beating. You beat me and I collect it. I see beating now, especially when you flog teenagers, like when they're able to withstand the pain, it's like they're crowned kings among their mates. It's not this baller,
especially when they end up being able to endure
like you just flog
that
that
pain.
and then you just see a drop of tear. They're kings, they're royalty.
They no longer move.
Oh, don't go.
But so do you think that this use of physical, okay, so it's not physical violence, beating your kids,
Exactly.
you are teaching them to hide their mistakes rather than learn from them?
The mistakes.
When they make mistakes and then you beat them for it, since if they are scared of the beating, won't they hide those mistakes rather than you teaching them how to learn from the mistakes? Because if they make mistakes, they want to tell you and then you correct them.
Correct.
But if you beat them for those mistakes that they made, especially if they are very flimsy mistakes, like tiny things, like breaking a glass plate or something.
Let me not be so rigid in the way I think about these things, but let's look at the other, let's say the European countries.
Okay.
You know, the method they have applied now is that you don't have to beat your children. If you beat your children, you get arrested. Recently, I was talking to one of my friends and they told me that his auntie in the States called him and like, see, this is my daughter. I wanted to beat my daughter. My daughter was telling me that she was going to report me to the police for trying to beat her. And I was like, and he was very surprised about the whole scenario, about this whole thing. But then let's come to think of it in this manner now. African parents, the issue they have now is that they feel that once I beat you, then you stop doing that mistakes.
They feel like it's the only way.
It's the only way out. There's no other way apart from me flogging you and getting those things right. But the problem that we're now having with it now is that you create this sense of distance towards them when you constantly flog them. If you always make flogging as the only way of correcting them, only way, not meaning that flogging should not be part. I insist that flogging should be part of it. Punishment should be part of this grooming. But when you make it to be the only way, when they make certain mistakes as they grow up, because when you begin to grow around your adolescent periods and your adulthood, there's some mistakes that you eventually make. And then what really distance children from telling their parents is that if I tell my parents, the only thing they will do last is to flog me and shun me for doing it. They will not really give me any reasonable things for me to do towards the mistakes I've made. And then in this way, this deviates children from them. And one key way we can also try to measure up these things, and let's look at a child that was grown abroad. And let's look at a child that was grown in Nigeria. What are the similarities? What are the differences between the way they carry themselves? It's because there's already a sense that there's a reason why you should not do this particular thing. There's a reason why you should stay away from these things. So I honestly feel that this beating mechanism or this spoil the child mechanism that we have all applied is really affecting, because children will not be able to freely express their thoughts and what they feel about certain things. Okay, I went to school, I did this particular thing and it was wrong, mommy. What should I do about these things? It does not really help them. So I'm not totally in support that flogging should be the only way out.
Stella? Well, for me, I don't know. It depends. It depends. If for me, my parents they were strict, So I feel like because of some of those things that they beat us for, we actually learned from it. But then when they now make it too much and then you just do something and then your daddy beats you so mercilessly that they even leave big scars behind, I feel like that's where the problem comes in.
So the next time you remember that there's a pain.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, okay, I won't totally go against beating your children. But then if you want to beat them on their bum bum. Beat them on their bum bum. And do not beat teenagers. Jesus Christ. Just talk to them. I don't support beating teenagers if they're babies, if they are young ones coming up. Beat them on their bum bum. That one is okay. Don't beat teenagers. Somebody like me never just stop beating me. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Okay, so do you think that the beating, because when parents are, meting out physical discipline and punishment, they tend to sometimes neglect the emotional needs of their children. Do you get? And then sometimes these children, they feel unseen in their houses. They feel unheard. They feel like their emotional needs are not being taken care of. Then they look outside for this sense of belonging that they don't feel they're getting in their houses. What do you think about that?
Talking about the emotional status, I've said earlier on, so I've said, we human beings, one thing that makes us human is our ability for us to feel emotions. We are emotional beings. If you take away those emotions for us, it does not make us to be emotional beings any longer. Then we become robots that are just living. Do this, carry this, and the rest of them. But then, let's look at it in this way. When a child is being showered so much love, per se, love, and then at the same time, giving the good correction and the good scolding to grow. When a child is being showered with this so much love, it's not very easy for that child to go out into the society and then being driven away or feel not belonging to his family or something, or just lock up himself in his room and just begin to, because what happens to that child is that child will take it as though this my home is no longer my home. And students always talk about their families in school. You have friends that are talking, in my home, yesterday night, all of us were in the dining, we ate together, we are all marrying our parents, we are all laughing together. And then on the other hand, you realize that your own home arrangement is that
was flogging.
Exactly. Then that's like, what is that? When everybody went in the dining table eating, you stood one side carrying stool on your head for hours, and then maybe one of your very funny siblings just looking at you like this, showing his tongue at you for no literal reason. And then honestly, it really breaks down your whole emotional stability, and then this thing really affects the building up of that child. Because one thing that parents should understand is that as a child is growing, parents are meant to guide us. They're meant to guide us while growing. Love us while growing, because that's why St. Peter said in First Peter 4 verse 18, said that what we should love each other earnestly, because love covers all sins. Where there's love, it's not easy for sin to just come and play a role in it.
But then, speaking about love, when you love someone, you would want to do everything in your power to make sure, I love my daughter, I love my son, I care about them so much. I want to do this thing so that they can be better. I want to, if I don't beat him now, he will start behaving anyhow. He will start thinking, oh, my mom will not beat me. I can do this. I can do that. Yeah. So.
Parents' goals are not wrong. Their goals to raise us to be better people.
Yeah.
But one thing I always know is that we should not focus on goals, focus on the systems. What means are you using to achieve this thing that you want for your child? Some parents can even go to the extent of even trying to gaslight their children and be like, they just look at every single thing I'm going through all for your sake. They just bring in that picture of themselves that, okay, I really appreciate the fact that they are doing the best they can do, but then I believe that parents can do better about this thing. They can always do better about these things.
Especially with this fast evolving world.
Exactly. Because children can always get information from the internet. We are in this digital age we are into is the information age. I can easily access information anyhow. I can come along and then someone can be talking to me about certain things that my parents could have talked to me about already. Things that could have helped me to grow in how much my emotions are to be. And in this way, we now end up neglecting that child as if that child does not have a heart or something. Well, please, we should be we should be loved. So
but
much
then
love.
we're not saying our parents should not scold us or are not teaching the points. We're just saying,
They're just suggesting that we're not really saying anything.
Yeah.
For real.
Although we appreciate and we have learned from all that you have scolded us from, but then this is
not all
the
things
new
can be solved
age.
by flogging.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my roommates and then I was asking him a question. I think, why the things that your parents flogged you for, have you stopped all of those things? And then it just gave me one instance. I usually play a game with my mom's phone and then they always flog me for using this phone. But the funny thing is that the flogging did not solve the problem of me playing game on their phone. But then what did I solve that problem was them getting me a phone of my own. And then in that way, what did he do? He ended up stop playing game with their own phone and then start playing game with his own phone. So then there's a better way to solve problems than flogging.
Not if they wanted to just stop the entire playing of games.
The entire playing the game. So why give him a phone? Knowing feel that will come to your school where we have to avoid, where you have to beat. And his parents kept checking me that.
I think that's where the beating comes.
Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. So a friend of mine told me something about you see all these societal menaces we have, like recently the Yahoo guys,
the
the
street
thugs,
guys,
the
yeah.
street people, that they come from loving homes. Do you agree with that? That they come from homes where they were not actually they were pampered. They had their way. You could just enter and talk about anything with your parents. Actually, if you're having a conversation, like elders are talking, and then you enter and then talk about it, like.
I feel like we should still try and look into the way it is, Let's not just fully depend on, oh, this is the new age. Oh my god, my mates are not doing this. Why should I do? Why are my parents doing this? I feel like we should still actually look at what was there, the foundation. My seniors cannot be talking now and I'll just enter their midst and I was there too. It shows that if I go outside and I go to that same society, they will feel like
you slap.
Who be this one? This one, where you from come, abeg? Which family you from come from, abeg? Stuff like that. So I feel like just I don't know. Oh, Father. Oh, Jesus Christ.
When we speak about love per se, there's something I saw in the Bible, and then I think one of the psalmists, he said, God punishes his children out of his own faithfulness in itself. He punishes children out of his own faithfulness. And there's also one thing I always see drop my mother say. I don't know, maybe she's talked to her friend and then she'll just be like, maybe if someone misbehaves in our family, and she'll just be like, it's when you give someone freedom, that's when you know the true person's character in essence. Why will you want to so choke that child so chained inside the home, knowing fully well that when you leave that child and it goes out, it become all the things you don't allow them to do. We're not encouraging that you should allow them to do all manner of evil, but then just just throw them out and then try to hold a rope at their back. Exactly. So that if there should be any error, it's very easier for you to pull them back together. Just like the way they describe the priest then in the Bible. They say that the priest then in the Bible, if they go into the holies of holy and they're not pure and that man gets dead, the rope they tie around the priestess and then they pull the priest out of that place. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that love is not actually the reason why all of these children and these social menace that we have, like the Yahoo boys, the prostitute, and the rest of them that we find in our society. It's not really always love that is the problem. And when we're growing up, I always read this book. Most of our secondary school book is about. You see one story whereby a child was too pampered, and then they'll not tell you how the child became spoiled, and then it became bad. But then when I begin to notice now, in that sense of pampering, will you call that pampering love? There was no sense of correction. That child will do something, you punish the mate that corrected that child. That's not love. You should not make it love. Look at love is that you are doing this particular to so that this child can become better. But at the same time, you will never neglect that child emotional being. You know that every single children have different emotional stability. We have different psychology. Someone like me now, you can talk me down, and that talking down will just boost my confidence to go and do the thing that you want me to do. But there's some people that if you just talk, I know people that if you just talk them down, you to break down completely. You know, because we said that our teachers have been kind of like, people are not serious, people are not taking care. Instead of that thing to really break me, I don't know why, I just get to leave the class very excited. Knowing fully well that, okay, you have just made me angry to go and do what I want to do. But it's not so for every child. So parents should look at their child very judiciously and look at what is the best mechanism for me to grow this child. Someone like me, you might have to flog me 20 times so that I can get a good upbringing. Or that child, flogging him 20 times will become an abuse to that child because 10 is enough to make that child to become better.
For me, somebody like me now, I was caged inside my father's house. My daddy will not let me go out to if it's not church, if it's not rehearsal, stay indoors. I don't want to even see you in the corridor. Stay inside your room, stay in the parlor, go to the kitchen and all that. But then people will be like every time they will call, come, you Stella, come, this one, school, this one, you party, this, you say no, my daddy, you will tell me no, your daddy go marry you, stuff like that. So I feel like, I don't know, I'm not regretting it because as I am here now, I like the fact that I was actually caged inside. People will be like, it's not good when your daddy is keeping you inside the house. It's not good. When they finally release you now, you could be like dog when they release from cage. You want to do everything. You want to do everything. But then I thank God for grace. I mean, my father, he applied this wisdom. Yeah. Wisdom from God, because if that man had not applied the wisdom from God, it would have turned into something else. We would have probably ended up hating him. But then he made us to understand these things from the Bible. He made us to understand that this is the way God wants us to be as children of God. We cannot be like other people out there. Sometimes we want to go for some events or some unnecessary event, my dad would be like, are they going to discuss God there? Is there anything related to God there? Is there? I don't understand. And I'll be like, Daddy, no. They say, then there's no need for you to go. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Honestly, thank you. I don't know. I feel better because somebody like me now, so many guys have chatted me instead of come now, Mo just go out now. Mo just
fine.
In my mind, I'll be like, please, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to go out. I mean, this is Madonna. We can move around everywhere we want freely, knowing that we're safe. Man, I mean, that's what my parents let me anyway. So yeah. I can testify that okay, I am okay and satisfied with the way my daddy actually made me stay indoors. I actually realized it's not like I was completely indoors. At least I go to church, I see some other things. I went to school, so I still experience those things. So I'm happy with the way my daddy actually locked me. It doesn't mean he should lock me more, but then I'm happy with the way he locked me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, do you think that this beating of a child makes them associate fear with respect?
Beating of a child. Yes. Let me first put that question. The answer yes. Yes, it makes them associate fear with respect. And fear is an unpleasant feeling that you have towards someone just because of the harm that you get from doing that things that you're not supposed to do. But rather, respect is a pleasing feeling. It's a admiring feeling. You respect this person, meaning that you admire this person per se. And because you admire this person, necessarily you don't want to do things that will hurt this person too. And then that is where fear comes in. The problem that we're having is that the problem is that we think that true respect comes following from fear itself. So they're trying to create an environment of fear so that respect can set in. But then is that truly respect per se? If we say that, most of us can claim that I fear and I respect God. But you know that when you err and when you fall into sin, you can come back to his throne of mercy and, oh Lord, forgive me. Yeah. But then you still remember that this God is a consuming fire and is someone that can punish. But then there's that respect that I have created for him it's coming from a sense of admiration. That means you have admired this God so much of the things that he has done. You love him so much. And then it's natural that this fear that if God say I should not go to left, I should not go to left because I love this person and I respect this person. But then the thing is like if you don't flog this child, so and I see a situation whereby parents are happier, or even lecturers are happy when students see them and then they are running. And then is that what we call respect, for goodness sake? I feel respect is that even when I'm in my presence, in my absence, you will not want to do anything that will hurt me per se, because you already love me already, and then there's no sense of it. You understand me, and it makes things more easier. So allowing beating to be a source of respect is no deal, because it just creates a very negative kind of fear, and then there's no respect.
You see, for me, lean to my parents again, because they trained me to an extent that I enjoy, and at some point I don't enjoy. So my dad, like I said, he was very strict, especially to my senior brother, because he felt like, oh, you are the senior son, you're meant to be an example to your junior ones and to the society, So there's this, my father used to be very strict. He's no more strict than him. So he used to be very strict. So most of the time when we hear that, oh, daddy is coming or daddy is around, you see that all of us will end up being sad, doing the things that we might not want to do at that moment, running elter-skelter, trying to make everything all right, things that are not even from our own will, But then my mommy, she when we were young, she created this impression of, oh, you don't have to be afraid, just, and that thing actually made us to be very scared about that. So when we were not coming up, my daddy was not like, I am not God. If you are doing a wrong thing and I am not there, what of God that is everywhere? I mean, there was one time we were in church. We were in church. We were in church, and then me and my younger ones, we were running around. And then when we now heard, oh, that is around, because my daddy went to get something. And then when he was coming back to church, we now heard, oh, that is around. We now quickly started arranging the chairs. We are scattered in church. We now sat down like good children.
Wow.
My daddy he actually beat us for that thing. And after he finished beating us, it was like, he started asking us, like, am I God? And I said, no. You are in the presence of God. And you were playing rough play, like children that does not have home training. And then when you heard I was coming, you started arranging everywhere.
Oh.
Am I God? It was
like
so
that.
angry.
I never recognized God was there.
The fact that when he was saying when we were young, I was like, why is that like? It's not that I'm growing up, I'm actually seeing the sense in this thing. I'm like, thank God my daddy actually beat us for this thing, because as he did not beat us, the next time we would have done it again. There are some things you want to talk to your child to not do, and there are some things that you rather punish them, beat them, so that they will not do. Because when, like you said, you don't make it the only way out. Don't always beat your children. Once they do this, beats. You understand? So just it depends on the severity of what they did. So before you beat them. So I actually love the training my parents gave me. They beat me a lot.
You said it like a lot of times.
Especially my mommy. They beat us, especially my senior brother. That boy chop beating guy. They won't stop beating me, self. That boy, the chop beating. But then I feel like it's what made us, shaped us into what we are today. But then I would not support it. I would not want to beat my children the way my daddy beats me, because they might just end up, it's a new age now. They might just end up
going
into the
kind of strength
internet.
that you have.
Yeah, they might just end up going to the internet, seeing the emotion that, oh, parents are not supposed to be beating their children. All those people abroad, like, they don't touch their children. Why my parents be eating me? This one, that one,
the point
stuff
of
like
death.
that. Yeah.
But honestly, is there any way we can think of factors why parents think that if they're carrying their children now, that are in Nigeria, in this African setting, and take them abroad, it's a high certainty for them becoming bad children? Why do they feel that sense of, if I take my child outside this environment, it will spoil. Let him finish university first before you go outside, so that will not spoil. But why for that mentality?
No,
it's something that is really bothering, and then I feel parents should really checkmate these things, because now if the normal settings is that once a child sees parents, he should run from that particular activities he's doing. It's no more better for them to look into ways they can uphold this child to ensure that this child is actually growing up in the right way. Let me understand this child, because there's one thing I know is that nobody really cares about what you have to say, except if you really care for them. If you don't show that sense that I really care for my child, I see no reason for you beating that child, because it will show that what it really implies is that the child mentality is that you just want to flog me. But the one you show that, see, I love you, but then this thing must be done. This thing must be done. It will create this balance in their hearts that yes, there's love, punishment, so come with love too.
Yeah. Personally, my heart goes out to all those that have been victims of excessive punishments from their parents. You see, these people are the ones that would be experiencing sexual abuse, emotional abuse, and then they cannot talk to their parents about it because, do you understand, like they are going through, that's like one of the leading causes of mental health issues we have today, because they don't have people to talk to, and then they're looking for sense of, then they go outside and meet the wrong people and all of that. So that's basically what I feel. We all summarize it as we agree with the whole spare the rod, spoil the child thing, but then it should be on a moderate basis. Finally, we'll be getting our concluding statement from this book by our CEO, Reinventing Parenting. You should get one for yourself. It says here that teach your children, but let them choose for themselves. Don't force them. These next generation kids will be more inquisitive than we think. So you can't keep them under your wings forever. If you don't give them their answers, they will go search for it for themselves.
Exactly.
The way you see the world would have to change, and you would have to be less rigid and more understanding if you want to raise godly and morally upright kids. You have to train yourself to be able to train your kids. Learn, unlearn, read books, surf the net, check the news, do some research, have awkward conversations with your kids. Know them, know what your children are like, know how they feel, know their emotions, know their mental health status, know the things that bother them, even with the whole flogging.
No.
Put yourself in their shoes, and then watch how things begin to unravel. Thank you so much for coming on today's podcast. We have been so delighted to have you, my shining beauty Stella. And then Gabriel, my man. No. It's okay from the Booster for Today family. All right. Catch you on the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.